Hi, everybody. Good morning. Continue with our mimer. So, we're explaining a little differently here that Zion, Sion, is in exile, needs redemption through Mishpat, which the letter of the law, and the Shaveha. We've learned till now Shaveha. It's captives. Now we're learning a little differently. It's not captives. It's just someone needs to return. Like, you left home, you need to get back home. So the first one is caught in their predicament. They need mishpat, which second one is not caught. Um, and only needs to return. Right? They're not caught in their out of place exile. Right. So so the second level is higher than the first. The way we've always learned is the first level is higher person than the second level. Here, no. It's the other way around. So they need tzedakah, which the one who is the tzion, remember tzion means a sign, means someone who is completely engaged in their Torah mitzvahs. Nonetheless, they are in exile and affected by a negative environment that they need redemption. Now, it must be then the second level has something great about them, some great value, quality, that they are called just someone who's returning and is not caught up in exile. They're not, uh, if you will, incarcerated. So he began the explanation. Exile can only be if you're a thing. And in Kabbalistic terminology, that's called a keli. Everything has a vessel and a light to it. The vessel is what makes something into a thing, because the vessel of it is what gives it a parameter, gives it borders, gives it definition. Well, that makes it into a thing. Light is, doesn't have boundaries. It's the light that makes the boundaries, right? That's why the sun shines everywhere equally. It doesn't have boundaries. For the sake of the metaphor, of course, the sun has got boundaries because it's only a sun and it doesn't shine by night, not at least where you are by night. So light cannot be in Golus. in exile. It can't be in a mode of darkness, if you will, right? And therefore, a little bit of light can push away a lot of darkness. And even when light comes down as we have it in a physical sense, like when we speak about light and vessel, it's not merely in the physical, it's in the spiritual too. In every dimension of creation, there's light and vessel after tzimtzum, after contraction. So, um, so then, even as light is contracted and it's called a little light, meaning it's got a measure, it still pushes away a lot of darkness. And it does so automatically, right? It doesn't have to struggle with the darkness to push it away. So the whole point over here that we want to bring out is that light is not exiled, if you will. It's not contained. That's why even a little bit of light can push away a lot of darkness in the physical sense and obviously the figurative sense. And that the darkness of exile is pushed away because of the light. Okay. Now, like we have light and vessel, well, I mentioned it previously, we also have it in another form called body and soul. They are, body is like the vessel, and light is like the soul. As the previous service said, to tie it into discussion over here, that the body can be in exile, but not the soul. He said that specifically when he was incarcerated. So what was incarcerated? Right, 1927, the Soviets, communists imprisoned him. Initially, he had a death sentence commuted to 10 years and 3 years of harsh labor. And then a few days later, he was released from prison. So what was in prison? Only his body, not his soul. Not his soul. Similarly, as many of the hostages, we hear their story. Their body was imprisoned, but they didn't allow their soul to be imprisoned. So, what does this mean? The neshama, our soul, it's enclosed in our body, right? I mean, we do have a part of the soul that's beyond, but right now we're experiencing a soul that's in a body, and the body is in exile. Nonetheless, the soul, it's not possible to be in exile. Not itself. It's only because of the body. The body is in exile. The soul that's in the body, that as the body is in exile, the soul only needs to return. It only needs to return. Right? Powerful. As our sages say, I am asleep in exile, but my heart is awake. So I am asleep, referring to the I of the person as the animal soul in the body, right? Our first responder, if you will. And what we're more in tune with is our body and animal soul, right? Body's hungry, you're feeling it. The soul is hungry, not necessarily we feel it. We might not, right? But my soul, so hence, um, I could be asleep, meaning my body is asleep because it's not attuned, it's not alive. The body's not alive in the sense that it's connected, right? It's asleep to its divine connection, but my heart, meaning my soul, the soul that's in the part of my heart, is awake, right? Being that the soul is literally a part of God. Now, it's interesting. The word literally in Hebrew is mamish or mamash, which means literal, which comes from the word mamashios, which means uh, uh, oh boy. I'm lost for the English word. They're like my one of my granddaughters came. Parents came. She's a few months old. She didn't come. Her parents came. And she is Zaftik. She is like got one grandson. It's like, bones and a little flesh. But this granddaughter, oh, she's got mamish, like she's meaty, if you will. Right? Like there's something to grab there. A leg, that's uh,
Good pokies.
huh?
Good pokies.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like the English word to bring out, like, like there's really something juicy there. Not juicy is not the right word. Like there's something there as opposed to, not much there. So it's there's physically something, right? The word mamashias comes from the word uh, substance. Yeah, a lot of substance, like physical substance, right? Um, Meaning to say that when we say that the godly soul is literally a part of God, so it means in the literal, in the mamashias means even in the substance of being in a body, it's there. And as the Baal Shem Tov says, that when you grab a part of the essence, you grab a part of the whole. That therefore that means even after the soul comes and it's clothes itself in the body, right? Which, by the way, that idea of a soul and a body fusing together, soul is so um, otherworldly, body is so worldly. Like they don't really come together. They don't naturally come together. That how do they coexist? It's a wondrous thing of God, right? Wondrous thing of God. So, so when the soul is enclosed in the body in this wondrous manner, even when we are like in exile, the soul, it's not in exile. It's just not in exile. The body is, meaning the soul is still aligned. The soul is still connected. It's not, it moved, if you will, right? It's in the body, but it's on an exile. And according to this, then we can say that the language in the term that we're using, and shaveha, its return. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about over here? We're not talking about special people, right? We're talking about everybody. Being that the soul is not in exile, therefore you can't say it needs to be redeemed. But it still doesn't need to be redeemed, but it still needs to be returned. Meaning it's still pure. It's not like, so different than, um, you're born in sin. Born in sin. Oh boy, is that real exile? That's exile. And, you know, you're just self-centered. You know, you're just whatever, you understand. Won't go there. Here it's not saying that. Wow. So therefore, it doesn't need to be redeemed. Nonetheless, it needs to return. Sin, why? Because the soul is in fact clothed in the body, and it's affected by the body, right? It's affected by the agenda of the body, that the body is self-centered. The body is only wants what's good for it, what's pleasurable and comfortable for it. Right? The animal soul only wants what's good for it, that is self-sustaining and builds you and makes you more, not a bad person. That makes you more of a, but yeah, makes you builds your life, right? The soul is found by that, and it's affected by it, by the exile of the body, the agenda of the body that it just wants, needs, lusts, has addictions. So the soul is affected, right? So even though it's found in exile, all it needs is to return. It doesn't need redemption. Wow, is that powerful? It's all it needs. It just needs to come home. It's a different way to look at our makeup and who we are. A very different way to view ourselves. Not that you're this, and others, oh, and therefore, if I don't do this, I'm going to burn in hell. Because after all, uh, you know, we're living in hell. We're living in a jungle, and if I have the right faith and I have the right actions, I do the right thing, there's salvation. No, the soul is literally a part of God. It just needs to return. Yes, we're going to learn more. What does it mean to return? Yes, it's affected by exile. Exile, the inherent exile of the fact that the body is housing the soul, and the body, the animal soul, is got its own agenda that is not aligned with anything divine. inherently not. All right, chapter 5 is where we are. We can continue. Whoa, something to think about in your prayers now, in your davening. All right, we'll see you soon, folks. God bless. Ready? There we go. Almost.